They knew that
Showtime.
we had the same. Okay.
We are. Yo. We was already talking to everybody out there, radio, TV world,
Yeah.
TV media. First off, I'm DJ D Poise.
Sunset Music coming to you, Spitfire Radio in the building,
We
baby.
ain't gonna never get that.
Lord, I was interrupting y'all saying, but it's your boy, the kid, the justice, the kid Justin in the house.
Yep.
And I'm Key.
Man, why you keep sounding like an Italian or something? Like a mafia
Kid
thing.
Justice.
Yeah.
Kid Justice. Yeah.
I got haters in the house.
Hey, that's his new persona.
Oh man.
All right, we talking about the war, man.
Yeah.
No, look.
Go
Here,
ahead,
let me
go
finish my
on,
thought though.
please.
That's what I was saying about Putin and the Russians. They played all of us. They played all of America, but they played black people because they knew that racism in this country is an open wound, the same as it is in Russia. They said their racism's off the hook too. They don't like people of color at all. They knew we had those issues here in this country, and they exploited them. They got on the internet. They made up stories about Black Lives Matter protests going on here, there, and everywhere, and all this other crap. And it worked. And they knew we were right for the picking, and Putin orchestrated all of this. So he knows that America was one of the one superpowers that could have stopped him, could have. He knows that we're in no position to stop him now. He's got carte blanche. He's not going to stop. He's not going to stop. He was bombing them last night. He's bombing them right now. He's not going to stop.
Wait a minute. People don't even know what you're talking about, but
Right. Ukraine. Let's talk about the Ukraine. Ukraine.
Hello.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
All right. Well, I brought up we were talking about the fact that we are at war, and we were saying that China don't like us, and I said, well, it don't help that Trump threw gasoline on the fire and made it raise even more for them to hate us even more with China flu and all those things that he did to China. I mean, didn't he do some things to China? He took some things away from them. He took jobs away, money away from them. He caused them to be upset.
There's a history of racism though against the Chinese.
He's like, yo, man, we gonna stop China.
Exactly. He basically promoted racism against their people. Yeah.
Well, you know, they built the railroads and then they turned around and put them in internment camps. So yeah, Chinese people were living in this country 20, 30 years to get put in a camp because Pearl Harbor got bombed or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So America has a history of doing Chinese people wrong, and now they're getting their revenge.
So they're working with Russia in this situation in Ukraine. Is that what you?
I didn't think they were allowed to because I thought they got sanctions. I thought Russia got sanctions, so our allies ain't working with him no more. Putin.
The thing I tell people, the thing about sanctions is Putin don't care about sanctions. Sanctions affect poor people. Putin ain't poor. He got plenty money. So what he care about you cutting off credit card? That hurts people who need that.
I think they
like
import, export.
I like the
import, export.
Look, man, I don't agree with everything Trump did, but he is the only dude that went to war with China. Like, yo, man, we can't let them just take over. Hey, we cutting them off. And that's why we got cut off from them. We ain't had microchips for a long time. There's a little fight going on for a minute with China, man. I agree.
Well, but hold on. See, that's the thing.
People don't
you can't. Trump was talking about tariffs. That's not how tariffs work. He talked about tariffs against China. That's not how tariffs work. He had that all screwed up. So he wasn't tough on China. You hear him talk about tariffs towards China, you think that, he's not tough on China. Tariffs, we end up actually paying more for that when it comes to tariffs. That didn't help us. Do not believe that propaganda, man. I'm telling you, Trump is a bad guy, and he was not good for America. He just wasn't. And he's not a smart guy either. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's just not. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that Trump had going for him.
Hey, he gave me check. He gave us checks. That's black folks. That's all black folks care about. He gave us checks.
Yeah, now you sound like my mother.
That's what my mom was. He's like, hey, man, Trump might have been a prick and a racist prick at that. But he still sent down money. He's like, hey, man, somebody's out there.
Hey,
but do you remember why he
wanted to address China at all?
But do you remember why he wanted to do it? The biggest thing, and this makes my dad laugh hysterically every time I talk about it. Trump wanted those checks because he wanted to sign them. He wanted his name to be on it. Remember, he made such a big deal about that. I want my name, so they
he
remember
wouldn't
that I
send them
hate.
out. He wouldn't send them out
How
unless he had his
pathetic.
name on them.
Guy's like a third grader. My dad thinks that's so funny. He made sure them checks had his name on them, didn't he? Because that's how petty this dude. He's a petty buffoon. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's just. Did you hear about how it was in the news how he stole documents, took documents from the White House? Everybody knows when you're president, everything that goes on in the White House is a historical document. You can't take those records. There's a person who walks around all day in the White House and they're taking record of everything that goes on, everything that came in, how your staff felt about it, your reaction to it as the president, all of that. That goes to the Smithsonian and a historic society. You don't take that to the crib. He took that to Mar-a-Lago, and then they had to go get it. This is the dude you're praising.
He took it to the crib.
All we saying
He
is
stole federal documents.
We say he's an idiot. We never said he
How did Biden sign the checks he sent?
Like, we never took away that he was a racist idiot, bro.
I don't even remember.
China, that's all.
Did you?
And out of everybody who's been in office, including Obama, everybody's favorite, no one dared to challenge China. He might have been an idiot throwing a rock at a mountain thinking he could do
What did Trump say about the prime minister? He said he wrote me a wonderful letter. Oh, it's just such a beautiful letter. It was a wonderful letter, like it was his girlfriend or something. Yeah, this letter was just man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Look, man. Come on. He's an idiot, bro. I'm not even arguing. You see what I'm just saying?
That's not good foreign policy at all.
We know about him being an idiot, and we know his moves wasn't the best moves, but challenge China, man. I like that, man. That's one guy. Of the things I like. I was like, oh, you really go throw a rock at that monster? Yeesh.
Now, look, if he has some good policies or any of that, I'd be with it. But none of that, man. This guy was just so cosmetic. He's a cosmetic gangster, and that's the reason why too. Look, a conservative friend of mine hit me up talking about how this is Joe Biden's fault for being so weak and being so feckless. Shut up. I just explained to you how, you know what I'm saying, how your party, propped this guy up, and then number two, how about this? You see how he jumped on his jock. You see how he jumped on Fox News talking about Putin. He's such a brilliant strategist. Because Trump is a punk, and he likes Putin because Putin's a thug for real. Putin comes from the streets. Okay,
he was in the KGB, right? He was a KGB agent.
He was a part of that, and that's the thing too. He wants to bring all that back. The KGB, the USSR, the mighty force they were before Ronald Reagan killed them with the Cold War. He wants to go back to that, and he's going to get back to that with Trump's help. But Trump is on his job because he knows he's a real one. Putin is a real life thug, a real life murderer. He kills people. People disappear when they mess with him. Trump wishes he had that type of juice. He don't have that type of juice. Wasn't
the reason the USSR and Russia went to crap was because of their system? Didn't they have a socialist system or something like that?
People blame it on that, but really, Ronald Reagan, he killed him with the Cold War. And the Cold War, all that was is a stockpile of weapons. So we were stockpiling all these nuclear weapons.
It was a massive front. So
I gotta focus off what was going behind the scenes.
Well, and then what I'm saying, some of that too. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that Russian communism, people blame that or whatever. I always tell people here in America, capitalism is what rules, but I don't think that's the bomb either. We need to find a middle ground between communism, socialism, and capitalism. Those three things, if we could find something in the middle of it, somebody smarter than me will come up with that, but we need something in the middle of those three, But
we already got it here, don't you think?
Well, no, because
take care of people. That's under.
Well, that's socialism. Chris Matthews talked about that because he said America is kind of like, I think he said Switzerland, and Switzerland is a place that's is a capitalist system like we are, but it has a lot of social programs. Like we're a capitalist system, but we have Medicare. That's a socialist program. Medicaid. That's a socialist program. So you're right. We have
here in America, we have already found it. It's just we can't stop going into debt for some reason.
Well, and then we have two sides.
Stop giving out checks.
So not on the same page,
Stop giving out checks.
Now, DJ say that these cats is in debt before they start giving out checks. Keep giving out.
Ain't the first stimulus we got, though. Come on, man. Let's go back.
That was the first stimulus I got.
Exactly. Was there another stimulus? I missed
Oh,
that.
wait a minute. Wasn't it Bush? Bush gave us a stimulus. Wasn't it Bush?
Well, hold on. Didn't he do some tax thing? Because I think I got some
Yeah,
of that too.
trying to
It was
save
some
the
kind of
economy or something. Yeah, to get us to go out shop.
You talking about during the recession when everybody's losing their homes and shit, right?
Yeah.
Ain't that where we headed now? Ain't that where we headed back to now?
That seems to be a trend for Republican presidents.
People buying property like crazy. All I see is real estate this, real estate that. People still going for houses and stuff, man.
Yeah, I heard the housing market is still. People I work with, look, the lady I work with told me her house was $80,000 when she bought it. Dude told her, and I think they've only been there 3 years. She said, dude said, if you sold it today, you get $130,000.
Yeah.
Real quick. Oh yeah. And then another friend of mine, a friend of his is a realtor, and he said, man, I'm going to a house. I put the for sale sign in the yard. At that night, I'm doing the closing. He says that's it. Chick I work with, she bought a house sight unseen. And she said, Eddie, if I hadn't bought it sight unseen, I wouldn't have got it.
Yeah, you can do that with a lot of hood houses and stuff like that too.
Well, there's so many people wanting the house that she had to jump on it because she said, I had to buy it sight unseen. I just said, yeah, I'll take it. We've been looking.
I know it's a real big company out here in Columbus that's been buying up a lot of property.
I could believe it.
I forgot what the business is called, but you can invest into the property, man. Even if you only want to invest a small percentage, you still can invest into properties in Columbus, man. It's big. The real estate game is going up.
And real estate is where it's at.
Many other places of the world.
But good luck buying a house.
Yeah. Good luck buying another house.
Yeah. But maybe for other places in the world, you know what I'm saying? It's probably worse. But here in Columbus, man, that's all people talk about is selling and buying.
Yeah.
That's all I hear. See, people doing it left and right. New homeowners.
Your best bet is just to have one built at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Cheaper to have one built.
Yeah,
you can do that too. Get the land and just build on the land. People opt to do that sometimes. You can have some of those prefab homes they got. You know, those homes that go up in an hour or two. So
that's everything now.
Nah, you're talking about the double wides, how they link together. They somehow strap them together and make one house.
Bro,
yeah. What is it? Training, man. They about to draft.
Yeah.
They about to draft.
Not cylinders, like a train trailers.
Man,
modular trailers or some shit like that.
I bet don't buy no houses, man. They gonna draft half of us, man. We going to war. We gonna World War III.
I'm too old.
No, you're not.
I know that's right. I'm too old too. Hey, they drafting brother 65 over in the Ukraine right now. 65 years old. We ain't too old. We ain't too old.
No, I'm too old. I'm not going to nobody's military. They can hang that up.
Hey, Kid Justice. Hey, Kid Justice gonna be the first to go. He gonna be the first one to go, Kid Justice.
No, I'm not. There you go, Kid Justice. Yeah, he will be.
Hey, he gonna be the first one to go.
I'm the last son. I have to stay home.
So my mom's only son. I can't go.
That don't work no more, bro.
I know that's right.
That's Vietnam rules. World War II rules.
They come through like, hey, you ain't answer the call. Cass gonna be like, Cass gonna still be trying to live their regular life. They gonna be.
Hey, remember when you turned 18 and you got your driver's license? You had to sign that paper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was bugging. I was like, I don't want to sign this.
You get drafted.
Got to register.
I was like, I don't want to sign this.
That was the first real decision as a man I made. You don't have to sign that damn paper. You don't have
you don't? You don't have to sign it?
How you can be arrested, but I never knew anybody. I'm sure I got plenty of boys that hell with that paper, and they ain't get arrested.
Did y'all sign it?
I had signed it.
I signed it.
I signed it.
It was traditional.
But luckily never got called.
Brothers in the military.
I know that's right.
There's no way I can not sign it. They shoot me out.
Oh yeah. All of my mom's family is in the military, and they all have told me, well, not all, but a lot of my older uncles was like, don't mess with it. Because a lot of them were like, hey, look, we went because we wanted to go to school, and you don't have to do that. If you want to go to school, y'all got the money to go, you can just go. But we, you know what I'm saying, we went to the military because we were looking for, for just a better life, and that military housing. There are some pluses to being in the military now. And, like I was saying before we started the camera in our earlier conversation, the military is not that hard now. A friend of mine went to the military. You know what he told me? He said, Ed, I went to California. He said, I spent my days going to classes and shooting pool and playing cards. And I did that for 2 years and came home. And he was in the military. I think maybe he's in the reserves or something like that, but that was the military.
Shit jump off. yeah, until some stuff jump off.
And that's right. That's a good point. Kind of like being a firefighter. Until it's cool until there's a fire. And then you call to action. So you're right.
I ain't even going front. I'm not even going front, bro. I was getting ready to go into the Navy, and you know where I would have ended up in Desert Storm.
Oh.
Yeah, I would have been in Desert Storm if I had went. And just because my grandmother and them said you ain't going. Now was it the Navy? It wasn't the Navy. It was oh wait a minute.
Air Force, Marines, Army, Navy.
It was the Marine. I was trying to be a Marine. I was trying to be a Marine.
Oh, them some bad brothers right there.
Fighters. Hey,
Army SEAL and all that. Yeah, Marines ain't no joke, right? That's what I said. I saw news on there. I was like, yeah, I want to roll with y'all. You know, they come and they talk to you and they fill you with all this crap. We're gonna make you a man and this and that, and it's like,
oh, they can make you a man.
Yeah, you go. That's probably like the hardest one, ain't it? That's the hardest part of
Yeah, because I know the easiest one is
at least one of them gotta be.
Well, they said the easiest one is Air Force. Because I talked about, because my dad was in the Air Force, and he said a lot of times people who are in the Air Force, you have to try to get. It's hard to get in the Air Force. And then one dude, a cat I work with, he was in the Army. He told me, he said a friend of his, when they went to a recruiting thing, looked around, and he said the guy from the Air Force had his feet propped up and was eating a Big Mac. So he said to himself, I want to do that. He said he joined the Air Force. But they say Air Force is real smart. It's hard to get in the Air Force to where, the other ones are a little easier. But I guess Air Force is really about like, because it's more than just flying stuff, more than I think the Air Force does a lot with intelligence type stuff, and so they said that's kind of a hard branch to get into. But
Jennifer, I was trying to. A lot of my friends that we were all gonna go in at the same time, but I didn't get to go, and I know I would have been because that's where they ended up, and they was like, bro, you lucky you didn't go, bro, because I went to Desert Storm. He said like it wasn't even right after training, they was shipped out like.
And you know what? Look, low key, or not low key, but high key. How about this? That's the reason why I stopped. Like I would always see a military person. I'll tell them, "Thank you for your service." I stopped doing that because they were saying some of them actually take offense to that because it's almost like you saying, better you than me. I'm glad you went to fight because I'd never do it. That's not how I was trying to say it, but they said it comes. So I stopped saying it because I don't want them to get, because I don't feel like that. I really do thank you for your service. I know you and your family sacrificed for what you did over there so that we all can live comfortably over here in America. I get that. I thank you for your service. But exactly. So, exactly. But but they also understand, how about this? There's only 2 million Americans in the armed forces. So a lot of times when they go through these wars and do all this stuff, not all of us goes through it. Just those few people who got military. For Key, you go through it. You got kids in the military. So people like yourself, you go through it. But the rest of us are kind of like, nah, we're at war. Nah, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like
your brother was bored. He took the test. He was what? Wow. 24 years later, he said he would go back. What? Okay.
Wow. Okay. Well, hey, there you go. I mean, hey. And there you go. And see, that's the thing. The military is a trip. Because think about it. I also when I worked at a high school, I was getting high school students jobs and stuff, right? And sometimes they come in and talk about wanting to go to the military. Sometimes young ladies would come in, tell me I want to go to the military. At that time, being a guy who watches the news, it was heavy in the news talking about how women were getting raped in the military and how it was hard for them to do anything about it. Because you're in the military, if your commander raped you or somebody raped you, what you gonna do? Report it to your rapist or report it to another guy who's kind of like, this is the military. We do what we want to do. So there was all that going on. So a young lady would come in, tell me she want to go to the armed forces. I got all that in the back of my head. So I'd ask her, why do you? And I'd ask any kid, why do you want to go? Some kids would come in and tell me, well, I want to shoot people up. I want to kill. I want to kill and get paid for it. Well, that's not a reason. I was like, well, cut it. I said, how about this? A lot of what the military does is humanitarian aid. So, if there's a war, you'd be killing people, obviously, but that's not a reason to be going into the military. Some kids would tell me, man, I feel like I'm called to serve. I'm called to help my fellow man. I'm called to serve. Well, then that's a good reason to go into the military. But there's there's two. And then even with all that said, I did a story about a sister. She was in the military, had a great experience. This sister's from Jamaica, had a great experience in the military, got out the military, fully decorated, ran for office, won. So she has that story. And there was a black sports commentator. I can't remember his name, but he came after her because he was like, there she is just trying to say America's all great. And it wasn't that, but her experience with America was different than a lot of our experiences are. Here's a black woman. She was from Jamaica. She went to the military, had a great experience there, got out the military, ran for office. She won. She's a Republican. It worked for her. Why would she not love America and think the American dream is real? It worked for her, right? But she don't get that she's just one person. But see what I'm saying? There's a lot of people who have different experiences with this girl called Lady Liberty, or the military, So yeah. It's something. It's something. Yeah.
Well, that's topic one. We've talked.
Hey, look, I got something.
I want to ask you. You posted something about slaves in prison, and they had the women in prison with the men, and the women got pregnant, and they would auction off their babies
and
to cover.
I think it was going on in Alabama or something. Was it something like that?
Alabama. This is in the U.S.
Oh, this is old, bro. This
is a long time ago.
This is the long time.
Hey, you see his face? He looked frightened, didn't he?
It's like, let women go to jail with men and men impregnating the women.
Hold on. So you saying they sending women to jail with men who don't see women often? Man,
black men. This was slaves. This was the slave time, right?
Yeah, I think this is that time. So yeah, so obviously they didn't care, and they wasn't even considering these people, So yeah, but they were saying that a lot of times they had these black women jailed with these men, and of course they get pregnant and have a baby, and and then they said that they just take the baby and sell the baby, keep the money or what, and so I was just like, wow.
to sponsor white schools.
Yes, for white schools.
Like we cattle.
Wow.
Yeah, that blew me away. And hey, TikTok, man, I'm telling you.
I'm sure they did the worst things. I'm pretty sure some groups of people probably.
It became property of the state. The children did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
co-ed jails. Yep. Yeah. When the children became 10, it became property of the state. Yeah. I also shared a thing where a dude had went through how JP Morgan Chase and Citibank, all of these big corporations owned slaves or had a piece of the slave trade, made money. They had like life. Oh yeah, had life insurance. They said Wachovia. I didn't even know Wachovia. They said Wachovia owned slaves. They had pieces in the slave, and then they said a lot of these places had life insurance policies on slaves.
It's so dumb not to get rid of all the slave documents at this point. Man,
some of that stuff you can't. And then how about this? I guess the guy in the film, when the film on TikTok, he said that a lot of these companies, they were honest about it. They came out and said, yes, we did that and we're sorry. And then that's where it just stopped. Oh, we're sorry. This did happen. It's proved. Yes, we did that. Okay, we're sorry. So, I mean, it's once again, it's kind of in the face of black folk,
Yeah.
Thanks for nothing,
And we still ain't giving you a loan.
No, this is documented because they apologized for it. So they admitted, yes, this happened. You can probably Google all this because this guy was on TikTok and it blew me away because the brother was very happy when he was. I'm not happy, but I mean smiling. I understand presentation, but
he's searching for it. He's searching for the document.
I noticed it was Black History Month, but that wasn't really a Black history fact that I really wanted to hear. That helped. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to talk about our bad times. We want to talk about how we uplifted Black people. Yeah. That was kind of like we were slaves. That was a little depressing. Like, damn.
That is my problem, though, with Black History Month. Because as a people, a lot of our history is marred in such horribleness, such grotesqueness, such strife, such pain. So, I mean, I've talked about that on my show. I mean, some of that Black memorabilia that I collect, it's painful. You look at that, and this is a positive stuff.
It's crazy. I couldn't even believe it when I seen it. I said,
I mean, but you know what? We it's also a testament to the resilience of our people. So we kind of have to embrace this pain. But you know what? there was a thing on CNN and they had like a bunch of black authors there. And the one black author said, he said, I hate to think, he said, or I think that white people probably sit around thinking that black people sit around all day talking about slavery or talking about racial rights. And we don't. We have a lot of fun as people, right? We have our barbecues, we have our cookouts, we have our just camaraderie getting together and playing cards, playing dominoes, doing whatever we do, kicking it. And the last thing that black people is talking about is social rights or social injustice or being black or any of that stuff. So he said there needs to be a light shined on that, and I get that. Shine, and I see what you're saying, boys. Give us the positive. We need that, but we can't forget the horribleness, and it is so much intertwined in our history in this country, unfortunately.
How did it differ from the plantation? Did it differ from the They didn't sell us off when you was in a plantation, though, right? They let you keep your baby. By the time, you know what? That's a good question. How did it differ in the plantation from being in jail? That means if your parent was bad and that mean that your child was bad and your child needed to be auctioned off or given, because the parent was bad. But if you was in a plantation, you could keep your child.
I think it was probably just at the whim of the slave master, right? Because all we're talking about is cattle,
no rights. They treated
not people.
Us like pigs, like animals.
Yeah, yeah.
You'd be lucky if your family got to stay together. Anything.
Wow.
And we're talking about better situations, and you black in America back then. There's no better situation.
Well, look. Here's another sad historical fact that I found out lately. Okay, now I'd always heard that the term MFer that us black folk like to use so much. Yo, that dirty MFer. I'll tell that MFer I ain't paying him his money, right? I thought that came, and I'd always heard that it came from slaves, referring to that slave master who would come down and who would have sex with our mothers. That dirty MFer. Sister was like, no, not necessarily. It came from the fact that when you were a slave, your family was split up and bought and sold here and there, right? So you could end up on one of these plantations that was just for sex, and you could get put in a room with your mother and not even know it. And a lot of times they put bags and stuff over their heads so they couldn't see who they were having sex with. So you would hump your mom and you wouldn't even have known it because she got sold over here, you got sold over there, and y'all just met up at this plantation for sex and were there to breed. See what I'm saying? That is our history in this country. But we can't run from that. We have to say, look, we're still here in spite of it.
Hold on. You saying MFer comes from slavery?
Yeah, that's where that comes from. And it was because you might be actually having sex with your own mother and you wouldn't even have known it because they split families up. They split us up.
Man, what does your shirt say? Because it makes me say, please. Please, I can't, what? I can't. You know what? I can't breathe thinking about that. Like
there it is. Exactly. I mean,
man, we have been treated like crap forever, and it's just damn. Look, all our life.
My dad talks about it all the time. He said, "Look, if you were an alien and you came to this planet and you saw the plight of black people, you would be like, well, this was an interesting race of people. I guess they're going now. So we got to. What? They're still living." They're still here. Some of them got money. Some of them are thriving. Where are they at? I gotta see them. These people still live. They wouldn't believe it, but we're still here, and we're thriving. We're still living. You know what I'm saying? And what did Tupac say? The only thing take us off this planet is us, and that's real. The only thing that take us off this planet is us. So that's a beautiful thing, even in all that pain and misery. There's, you know what I'm saying? There's beauty in that. So yeah, happy Black History Month.
Right.
Happy Black History Month.
You say.
And we haven't talked about anything in the Black history. It's always the same thing. Martin Luther King.
Rosa Parks.
Martin Luther King. Right. Rosa Parks. Come on, man. There's a lot of things that we've done that don't really get noticed because they were stolen from us and somebody else took it. Even the music. You think about some of the music that Black artists put out and it was remade by white artists, and they're like, well, why? You know what I'm saying? What? Was it Lil Richie put out a lot of stuff and then it was stolen?
Have you ever heard the song Long Tall Sally? You ever heard that?
Sounds familiar.
It's a Little Richard song. Long Tall Sally. Na, 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 and it's a real fast song. He just banging on the keys. He did that on purpose because he did Long Tall Sally, and they tried to remake it. Pat Boone, who was the cover artist. Pat Boone, what a schmuck. He was a white cat. He would always remake all the black hits or whatever. So he tried to remake that Long Tall. No, he remade a whole lot of Little Richard stuff, and then Little Richard made Long Tall Sally, knowing that he couldn't remake that because he said Pat Boone ain't gonna be able to sing this, and he couldn't. Because it was so fast. Long Tall Sally. It was real fast. He was just dope. You got to hear it. Google it. But you know what I'm saying? He did that on purpose because, and then I seen a thing on TikTok with Little Richard doing an interview, and he said that he was never effeminate. He said that was never me. He said I would make my voice higher so that I could sing for these white people's kids. He said that. He said if I came with my deep, regular masculine voice, they wouldn't let me sing. He said all I ever wanted to do all my life was sing for people. He said, so these white people felt comfortable with me singing to their kids and singing to their women. I had to make my voice high and act feminine. That's what he said.
Little Richard was never gay.
He said that. He said he was never like. He said that was never him. He said I did that just so I'd be able to sing for white folks.
That's like saying Stevie Wonder was never blind.
I believe that. I believe that, bro. I do not believe. I already got that in my head. Stevie is not blind, bro.
Hey, did you see? Did you see when the microphone stand fell and he got it?
Yeah,
you see that? The microphone stand was falling.
Stevie
didn't draw scars.
His senses are stronger. He can hear it.
He's that superhero. What's that superhero that's blind?
People do it.
So you telling me my man heard the mic stand falling? Hey, he heard the mic stand falling.
Feel the air. He felt the air raising.
Why couldn't he?
Oh my Lord! That's new information. Y'all blew my mind with that. I've never heard that.
First of all, it was 30 niggas behind you singing.
Hear better, smell better, they even taste better. Salt.
So he couldn't hear it.
27 grams of salt in this chicken. Y'all cats is tripping.
Bro, you ain't see the one where Shaq said he got on the elevator and he got on the elevator with Stevie, but he didn't say nothing because he was starstruck. And Stevie said something to him real nasty and negative, and he was like, "What the?" He couldn't believe it. He was like, "Well, how the hell did Stevie know that I was on the plane? What on the elevator? Wasn't nobody else on there? I mean, but his little escort. But he didn't. Nobody said anything. And Stevie said, "Yeah, I don't like the way you played or something." It's on the internet. I was like, "Man, later for that. Stevie ain't blind, bro. He may be." I don't think he may be legally blind, but he ain't like totally blind. He sees something. He may see shadows or something, bro. Even when you go back in the day when he was a kid, he used to do things. You'd be like, wait a minute, man. How he do that? How he find the piano and there's nobody? He used to walk without an escort, bro, to the piano and be sitting down, and you'd be like, come on, bro.
The mic stand had me. The mic stand, I don't know if y'all seen it or not, but the mic stand was literally falling. And my man caught it in midair.
What does he get out of that? What does Stevie Wonder get out of pretending to be blind?
Yeah, how's he winning?
Yeah, exactly. How's he winning with this? I don't get it. What's the angle?
Once you pretend for so long, you got to continuously pretend.
Maybe he was growing up, and as he got older, his sight began to come back somewhat. You know what I'm saying? As he got older, you never know.
True. That's deep. I never thought about that. Oh my
goodness! His eyes start healing after all this time. Your body just naturally heal your eye. But nah, man, I don't think that's how it works, man. I think once you lose that, it's a wrap. Without technology, you will never see it again.
Yeah. I'm sure in a minute though they'll have some kind of technology that you can drill into your head or something. It'll give you your sight back or something. They ain't got it yet though.
If you don't, man, they need to hurry up.
Drill it into your head.
You're right.
A blind pianist can't catch a mic.
Yeah.
Nah, man, that's how it fails. You got to see the video to know what I'm talking about. He's standing there looking forward, right? And you know what I'm talking about. You seen it? Did you? You know
I seen it. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What you think?
So
Well,
a blind man can't notice, oh, the mic fell, try to reach for it and get lucky and catch it without kind of saying, you ain't blind. Damn. That's crazy. Because as a blind man, I would always have to.
It wasn't his
as a
mic
blind man,
stand.
I would always have to screw up for people to accept me being blind. If I do anything right, like he just iron his clothes, like, yo, well, I know where my
He ain't blind.
Nah, you ain't blind. Hey,
it wasn't his mic
pick
stand.
up them groceries. I mean, I heard.
But then some say he is blind because how much farther back on his head he gonna not feel the top of his head and know them braids is back here, and you saying, "Hey man, cut this off."
Yeah. Stevie's hairline is like in the middle of his head.
Cut this off, bro.
Right here, man.
Then I will probably say that. Yeah.
You said he got a horseshoe.
Yeah, man. Like when
the dreads with the braids on the side.
The dudes in the used to be at the airport back in the day, Hair Christians, whoever they are.
Yeah,
with the little.
Yeah.
I can't believe y'all said man. You know what we gonna start talking about? We gonna start talking about the ridiculous crap black people come up with. Like Tupac being alive. Why in the heck is y'all sending me that stuff through the chat?
Yo, man, that is Tupac, bro.
Well, y'all get on my nerves ever since.
Y'all get on my nerves.
That's what Tupac to come back. Like Jesus.
Hey, Tupac,
people want Tupac to come back more than they want Jesus.
Bro,
I swear.
That dude look like Tupac with a wig or braids. Think about it. If he died, it was 95, and he didn't shave his head since 95. Wouldn't his braids be that long?
There's probably at least 60 people that look exactly like Tupac. Probably got the same.
My man had extensions.
Bro, if he lift up his shirt, you might see the old tattoos.
I think that video
that would end it for you, wouldn't it? If you saw the what he had with the Thug Life. If he's like, look, all right, y'all. But he ain't coming out denying nothing. He ain't.
Tupac's not denying anything because he's dead, sir.
No. What's his name? Ali Akure something. His name is Akure something. But he's not saying he is or he isn't. He's just going on like, you know. At some point, somebody would have been like, yo, bro, are you Tupac? I looked and I was waiting to hear him say, man, no, man, I'm not Tupac. I ain't found nothing to him say, nah, man, I'm not Tupac. He ain't saying nothing. They keep putting videos out with him and Tupac next to each other, and you like, is he Tupac?
A million years ago, when all that stuff happened with Tupac and he passed on, right? And then they had that 2020 interview with Afeni Shakur, and they were talking to her about Tupac, and she was talking about his music, and she was talking about how, you know, her son had got all famous, and she had talked about the hard times they had and all that. And then the guy said, okay. He said, now let me ask you about Tupac, your son. Man, now let me tell you, that sister's face, her eyes just welled up with tears. They got all red, and boom, she just started crying. And she said, they stole my best friend. He was my best friend. That man's gone. When I saw the pain in that woman's eyes, I said, Tupac is dead. He's gone because his mother, you have to see it. You can probably Google that in the interview on YouTube. And when he asked her that, because they talked about his music, they talked about all that. He said, now let me talk to you about Tupac, your son. And she waited for a minute, and then her eyes just filled up with tears and got all red, and she just lost it, just tears, just crying all over the place because she said, they took my best friend. He was my best. And I said, that's when I said in my heart, Tupac is gone. they took her best friend.
They need to accept facts. Stevie Wonder is blind, and Tupac y'all won't
snap!
Hey,
I ain't gonna argue with you about the Pac thing, but like I said, until you see the video I'm talking about, you entitled to your opinion. But when you see that video I'm talking about, it might change though.
Man,
nah, I ain't saying that's Pac. Nah, I didn't agree.
Oh, okay.
I didn't agree to say that none of these cats was Pac. I'm saying that I'm talking about the Stevie situation. Until you see the video, and you know what you come to your own conclusion. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they said Elvis is still alive too.
It wasn't even his mic stand he caught. He caught somebody else's shit.
Well, what about that one time they had left Stevie on stage or something, and he didn't know he got left on stage, and then somebody had to go back out and get him? What show was that? It was something because they made a big deal about it. And they said
somebody got fired for that shit. Somebody got fired for that shit.
They just left Stevie there.
My bad, bro. I had to go pee. I had to go to the bathroom, bro.
Somebody lost their job.
Right. He does drive. Y'all ain't seen him driving?
No,
Yeah, I've
you
heard
lying.
jokes about that.
You
I think
lying.
Eddie
You
Murphy
lying.
made a joke about Stevie Wonder driving. I've heard that joke. I don't know.
He's
if
even-
I've heard that.
Stevie has
got
even
Tesla.
said that. Steve is
He got a
even no,
Tesla.
man, this was before then, bro. He was driving in the
Maybe only
90s.
blind
yeah,
in
y'all
one
They would
eye.
let him
Yeah,
drive,
no.
bro.
Maybe only blind in one
In the
eye.
field? He was
Oh,
in
on
the
the
field
street.
He was
Blind
on
in
the
one
road.
eye.
Oh, nah.
You gotta see a video. If you don't have video, it don't mean nothing for nothing somebody say.
No picture.
I
Oh,
know
my
that's
goodness.
right.
You ain't got pictures, I don't believe you, bro. Whatever, man.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah,
well, look,
I'm one
hey,
of them
did
people
y'all hear
too. If I
about,
don't see it, I don't know.
Hey, did y'all hear about the mayor of New York being mad at drill rap? Mayor Eric Adams, because he declared, they said he's declaring war on drill rap. Y'all know what drill rap is? You know what they consider
Yeah, I know
drill
what
rap?
drill
Like
rap is. Yeah,
Chief
yeah.
Keef and all that stuff
Yeah.
coming out of Chicago, and I
There's a
guess
lot
coming
of
out of
drill
like
rap down here in Louisiana.
I believe it. I believe it. And I guess there was a guy who got killed, rapper, what's his name? Shy Watts, I think, was shot. And that's what made him even like, I guess I had seen him doing like a little special about it. He said, I talked to my son about it because I never heard of drill rap. And then he said his son had like sent him some videos. And it was, a lot. Look, I got some cats here in the city.
Shit.
I mean, they do that's the type of music they do. A friend of mine, I ain't even gonna say his name, but he wouldn't care if I did. This guy, I mean, he walk around with choppers, guns bigger than him. And I mean, he showed me his video. It was 200 young black males in it with 300 guns. I mean, so this is that culture. And I guess he was kind of taken back by it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't like it. But what I like about this mayor is that he called together all the drill rappers in New York, and they sat down and they talked about it. And then they said they came to some points or whatever, and they're going to reveal the points later, or maybe some way to like come to some kind of inroads on this thing. But I like that. The fact that, we got a black mayor in New York, and instead of doing what a lot of these guys do, well, I'm old. I don't like that music. I don't like how violent it is. I don't like the message. Demonize the guys doing it. He said, no, hold up. Let me bring them here. Let me have them come to my office and let's talk about it. And then they came to a little, consensus on it. I dig that. Did y'all hear about that?
No, I never heard about that. Drill rap. What exactly is drill rap?
Like Keith Chief and man, I listen to these. Yeah.
Drill is a style of rap, is a style of trap music, defined by its dark, violent, and nihilistic lyrical content and ominous trap influenced beats. So
Yes,
it's
sir.
much pop music. All these cats talking about killing their
Exactly.
ops, getting rid of cats. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, man. At first I was like, this stuff is violence. I was like, hey, I kind of like this violent stuff.
So like in our day, it was called
gangster rap.
Music is bad, and
well,
people to do stuff. In my
bully
opinion,
rap.
Yo,
remember bully rap?
People to do stuff.
Yeah, bully rap. You know what bully rap is? You know what bully rap is?
LL Cool J rap? Nah, we talking
No. LL is not bully rap.
Nah, bully
rap is like Freddie
like
Fox, MOP, Freddie Fox.
Yeah, definitely Freddie Fox. Oh my lord.
Who's the rapper that does the year wrap up every year? Not Skills, but the other.
Yeah, he's definitely he is the bully rapper.
Bully.
What is his name?
Bully rapper is a rapper that would talk about how he go. 50 when he came out was considered a bully rapper, which bully rap because he bullies rappers and bullies people and takes their stuff. I'm gonna teach you how to rob. Good example. 50's first record. I'm gonna teach you how to rob. He's going around robbing all the rappers and stuff.
Yeah.
Bully rap. That's bully rap.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like bully rap.
Yeah, hey kid, I like a lot of that stuff too. Look, I like NBA YoungBoy. I like Chief Keef. I like some of that stuff, but I had to get past some of that violence and stuff too. But that is the same thing it was with gangster rap and all that back in our day. Because I don't like how people and older people will look at these young guys and be like, "Oh, you're glamorizing all that guns, all that violence." No, we're giving you a real life news report of the environments we live in.
Yeah,
So
after I listen to their music, I'm not like,
some of these cats, really living their life,
bro.
You said what, King? What'd you say?
Yeah, some of these cats really living their life. Hey,
yes,
and some of these cats really living their life. They got $200-300 million and still out there shooting and fighting and all kinds of stuff. That money don't change a person. But if you
Yeah.
if you are what you are, you know what I'm saying. So if that's
That's
how
why
you
Yeah.
was raised and that's how the situation is for you, if you don't get out
Yeah.
that situation, you still live that life. Whether you got money, houses, cars, you still got the
Oh
same
yeah.
crazy niggas with you that you was doing this with.
Yeah.
Until you separate yourself from
Hey.
that, I mean, you gonna continue to
Yeah.
live that life.
Hey,
Period.
you can take a brother
Yeah,
out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the brother. So there it is,
I know that's right.
and that's how
Yeah,
that
more
is,
like
I
live
mean,
by the gun,
some
die
of these
by the
cats
gun.
really living
You
that
can
life
take the
yeah,
though.
hood out of brother if you
yeah,
want.
Hey,
You gonna have his survival instincts, but he don't have to be hood. It's always your decision if you want to
you
be
right,
hood, if you want to be a
you
gangster.
right.
It depends on the company you keep. I'm telling you.
Company
That's
you
his.
If
keep,
you,
you can
Well,
have
that's the
yeah,
gangsters around
decision though
you.
you're making. Yeah,
right,
that's
right.
I
You
agree.
know who there
But
for
that's
you
why
and
I
who
said
ain't.
I like that's what we need to do though as a society. Don't be tripping off these lyrics. You need to be like, where's this coming from? And I'm like, some of these
Yeah,
places. I mean, these guys are coming from war zones. Chicago. I've been to Chicago. It's off the chain in Chicago. I got friends in Chicago right now. It's off the hook in Chicago. There's a reason why our ex-president couldn't keep Chicago
yeah.
out his mouth because it goes down in Chicago. But it also
Certain
goes
parts.
down in
Yeah,
Brooklyn,
yeah, yeah,
New
for
York.
sure, for
It
sure.
also goes down in the east side of Columbus. There's all these places in America where it goes down. A lot of them are our neighborhoods, and our kids are feeling it. I talked about on my show
Yeah.
how about this? I remember
yeah.
seeing a interview with DMX from Run DMC and not DMC, and he said back in the day a cat would hit me because I'm in Run DMC, they know who I am. He said they'd be like, yeah, let me spit a 16 for you. He said they spit they 16 and it'd be I'm this, I'm that, I do this, I do that. It was what you're used to hearing. He said, but then at some point, anybody who came and wanted to spit a 16 to me, it was all about I'll bust your brain and I'll wet your shirt and I'll shoot your head and all that stuff. He said at some point it just became about I got the gun and it's aimed at your head for skill.
Yeah, man.
He said at some point it turned into that, and that is a direct reflection of our streets, of our communities. And that's what these kids got on. I remember working at a school and there was some young kid who was on the internet, the kids that got into, I can't remember his name. He wasn't a big MC or whatever, but the kids, for whatever reason, were into this guy. But I went and listened to his music, and every song was kind of what we're hearing now typically. Was about the bands, and I'm married to the bands, and nothing matters but the bands, and I kill you for the bands, and I go in here and I slaughter 90 people for the bands. It's all about the money. And I even said to the kids, that's a lonely life.
Oh,
What, he gonna
snap.
hug his bands at night? He gonna lay in the bed with his bands, and his bands gonna rub his feet? But
And put it up against his head.
that's what it is, man. These kids, they're really amped up off of that, man. They're really sold on that,
Man, any
unfortunately,
kid that get inspired by somebody else making a song and it changed your whole lifestyle. I mean, music made me feel a certain type of way, but it doesn't make me make decisions like it's a logical decision. Like, bro, how long you gonna last in the street? How long does the average brother last? Why would you join that? Especially when you don't have to. We guys come from decent lives and you choose the streets just because of clout or whatever.
the appeal.
Yeah, but a lot of these cats don't come from different.
The problem don't be
It's a lot of cats that don't come from decent lives, though.
The problem don't be music. It's that child's mind. That child is too easily influenced. Your child's a lemming.
Well, but see, that's the thing. Man. Like he said, what if you don't have that influence? Now, look, my dad's an engineer. My mom's a minister. Okay, so I had plenty of, I got a minister in one ear. I got an engineer in the other ear. But there's plenty of kids I work with that had nobody. You got no mom. You got no dad. You know what I'm saying? Only family you got is in the streets as well. I was telling somebody a story about a kid I worked with. He was a 9th grader. He used to bring a gun to school because his brother was in the street selling dope, and they wanted to kill him because of his brother. So he would hide the gun on the school campus before he came in the school because we would search him and not let him bring him into school. But that kid ended up dying over his brother's gun.
I remember
you know what I'm saying?
That.
So what do kids like that do? There's plenty of kids out there, they just don't have any they don't have any parents, they don't have any guardians. And then even with this opioid epidemic, there's a lot of white kids who don't have parents. So they're just out there. And when these messages are coming in or whatever, it's get rich or die trying. Come on. Now, we all grown men. We all know how that story ends. You usually die trying and don't get rich. But if you're a kid, you hear get rich or die trying, all you thinking about is the get rich part. Because you're not old enough. Your window of the world is so small, you don't know enough to know that it's probably going to end up with you dying trying and not getting rich. So
I believe waves in music do alter thinking behavior to low intelligent humans. I feel like once you reach
Well,
a
you're
certain
right. You're
point,
right.
you can hear anything and be like, boy, get out of here. But I still listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to
Yeah.
watch a movie without letting a movie affect you. You should be able to play video games without being like, I want to shoot up a school. I think that's just scapegoat bull crap for people who want to make excuses for their terrible decision making. No, man. You decide to do street stuff. Man, each life is hard. You can do the hard street shit, and you can do the hard straight edge stuff. You may make one path, the other one may be better for you. No path is right, but man, I don't want to hear no more. Oh, it's the music, the movies. Oh, we gotta quit talking about guns and stuff. I don't want to hear that no more. Yo, man, everybody know what's out here, man. You can join the military and shoot up people. You can join a gang and shoot up people. You can be a straight edge dude, make money, and never have to use a gun in your life. It's up to you. But music, my thing is, don't blame hip hop music. Let that free creativity be there. Don't touch it. I don't care if people don't like it. Get back. That's freedom of speech. Get back. More op music. More stuff. Bro, if you watch movies and you have nightmares, I understand. It affects you. Me, I could watch stuff and I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I feel like at a certain point, man, when you making excuses for your decisions,
that's what
I'm personal responsibility.
It goes both ways. Like, that's why I said, what you saying, that's where the Republican Party would come from. That's why they're tough on crime, right? Because they're like, nah, that person made a personal decision to go out here and do this bad thing. To where I would be more liberal about it. Sounds like he would be more liberal about it, to where I'm like, well, hold up. Where did this person grow up? Did they have any type of guidance? Did they have any type of support? You know, was this a person who grew up with nothing to eat? Well, maybe they went out stealing food. Well, I'm not mad at that. If this guy went in a store and he's stealing food, well, I don't think you should go to jail if you're stealing food you needed to eat, and it's the richest country in America. Why weren't you able to eat? Yeah. So like, it's two sides to this story, and that's what I said. They both, personal responsibility does come into play, because there are people who grow up in those situations and they don't take that way out. Yeah. So it goes both ways.
Mom be at work or mom be somewhere, you sitting at the crib, you got a house full of niggas. I mean, influence comes a lot of different places. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I know. You have to be man enough, even at a young age. You have to be man enough to make your own path. You cannot be like, well, my big brother, my daddy, it's in my family. Nah, you a whole man. At like 13,
you a whole man.
In my opinion, at 13, you responsible for your own decisions. By then, you know right from wrong. You know what's right and wrong. And you want to, cats want to pretend, oh man, I'm killing
peer
my
pressure is a hell of a drug.
Street because I was influenced. Nah, bro. Deep down inside, people know when they making bad decisions and good decisions. I've been around them people. Even the worst of them. Yeah, they might do bad stuff all the time, but they know it too. Like, man, I shouldn't be doing this, bro. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Now you in jail or now you dead. That's why, man, when you live that life, I don't be crying when cats go away or get killed. Even my favorite artist, I'm like, man, that nigga was a gangster. That's how I feel, man. You living that life, you a part of that shit.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to hear
you live by the sword, you definitely die by the sword. Hey, Fat Joe had said that. I seen an interview with Fat Joe, and he said Common don't get the type of drama that I get. He said, but Common doesn't rap like I rap. And how about this? He said, if I get that drama, I can handle it. That's why I rap like I rap. But he said that's the difference. He said there's some exactly, you know, some. There you go.
Said I move differently. I don't be out here causing no beef. I'm still a gangster, but it's the way I move.
But if
you know what I'm saying?
Step on the wrong person's toes and he get blasted, yeah, I mean, death is always sad, but I mean, that nigga's a gangster. That's the world they in. Like,
the dog-pound gangster crap.
Hey, when last time you seen Snoop step on somebody's toes, though?
It's been a minute.
He moves different now.
He
moves different now.
Yeah.
He moves different now. Yeah.
They said Snoop had a cookbook.
He everybody's friend.
Look, they said he got a cookbook that's 4 years old. It just hit the bestsellers list again, just because of his performance in the Super Bowl. I didn't even know Snoop had a cookbook. Are you serious?
Wow.
He was hanging out with Martha Stewart too long.
Is one of the most relevant people of all time, bro. Like this,
and he was hanging out with Martha Stewart too long.
Bro, he's in everything, like from sports to cooking to comedy to dramas to horror
yeah.
movies sometimes. You just see Snoop Dogg in this movie. Yeah, bro. Snoop gets money everywhere. He just, hey, I'll make an appearance. Man, they probably just be like, yo, Snoop, come through. We got the best weed. And he just, hey, man, you mind doing a
Yeah.
5-minute little skit, bro? Man,
Yeah.
that's a gangster that got out of that stuff. Like, hey, man, you know what? I just want to be cool with everybody. I ain't trying to be on that gangster stuff all day, bro.
Well, he's an American icon at this point, so you know.
Hey y'all, not to change the subject or nothing, but y'all peeped out that it's old now, but that 2 Chainz show they got on called The Most Expensivest or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Y'all peeped that
I've
out.
seen it.
Man, some of that stuff on there I would have never thought existed in a million years. Like the rich people pay people to find them somebody to date. Like y'all gotta watch some of this stuff. It'll blow your mind. Like some of the stuff that rich people will pay for.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Man,
well,
it
you
had
ain't
me
never seen that
somewhere else.
show, the
Hey,
$1
they
Million
sell
Matchmaker?
air. Nah,
Yeah.
check this out. They
Seen
sell
that.
air. They got air from the
Oh, yeah, I've
Alps
heard that.
somewhere. They put it in a can, and you can actually breathe in fresh air. I'm like, wait a minute.
That's stupid as hell.
It's
Yo,
bad. It's bad enough they tricked us in buying water because water is free. They
yeah.
done bamboozled us. We buying bottled water and shit, right?
That was
That's
like
worse
buying
as bad
bottled
as the
air.
pet rock. That's as bad as the pet rock. They got us
Man.
buying water. Now they bottling air in a can for you to breathe.
That's genius.
I
Wow.
want to put my
Listen,
air
I've seen
Oxygen.
it.
in my mama's
Not
name.
oxygen.
On that. I'm gonna sell.
Crack you a can of air.
I'm gonna sell
Right? No, real
celebrity
talk.
breath.
You can go spend $45 on a can of air.
I'm gonna
Wow.
sell celebrity breath. I'm gonna have Jay-Z and Beyonce and others big names just
Yeah.
breathing bottles. So, hey, Jay-Z breath said, I bet you cats go
Man.
crazy. Oh,
I watched it. He had gold
I can see
wrapping
cats
paper
now.
to smoke your weed with. Did you see that one
Yeah,
where
I
he had
seen
the
that.
gold wrap?
Mhm.
That was
Smoking.
sweet.
Yeah.
Like,
What?
oh,
I seen one. He was talking about a $3,000 microwave that he has. $3,000 microwave.
that
What?
What's it
microwave,
do?
that microwave must
Thank,
cook
and listen, that's
a
what the girl
whole
asked her. She said, "What does it do?" He said, "The same thing a regular microwave."
Wow.
It ain't
Hey,
even special.
nah.
It's $3,000.
$3,000. That shit take the food out the freezer for you,
Yeah,
$3,000.
man,
defrost it,
that's
and
a
cook it and put it on the
bro.
plate.
Why would he
Hey,
spend
how about this?
3,000?
Did y'all know? And correct me if wrong. 2 Chainz is Player Circle, right?
Yep.
That's the same. Yeah, that blew me away.
Titty
But I
boy.
was like, I
Titty
love
boy.
Player Circle. I love
Yep,
Player
Titty
Circle. And then
Boy.
when I heard T Chainz, I was like,
Titty
hold
Boy.
up. And then when somebody was like, that's the same dude. He was the Player Circle.
He had to change his
I guess
name. He said he was getting too much grief about the Titty Boy. Titty Boy.
Oh, really? Okay.
That was his real name.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he went by. Was Titty Boy. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I
Titty
didn't
Boy.
know. Okay. Because
Yes,
Ed
sir.
Lover was saying that when Player Circle was out, they kept telling the record label to put more money into Player Circle. Like, they're dope, put more, and they wouldn't do it. You know, so I was like, wow, I didn't know that, he kind of fell back and then reinvented himself as 2 Chainz, you know. But
Yes,
I
sir.
love Player
Yes,
Circle.
sir.
Duffel Bag Boy, what? I
Duffel
love
bag
that.
boy. Yeah, that's
I
been a
love
long
that.
time.
I ain't
Forever.
never ran from a what? I love that.
Yeah.
Duffel bag
And
boy.
I damn sure
I
everybody
thought they
started
was signed
running.
to Wayne, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they sign to Wayne or something at one point?
I
I
don't know. I
thought they
couldn't believe
were.
it though.
Yeah, I thought they was signed to Wayne.
Okay.
First, that was before Nicki and all them, right? I think that was
Oh
his
yeah.
first. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was before
Yep.
Nicki and Drake and yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah.
history right there. Hip
That's
hop
crazy.
history.
Crazy.
Yeah. I was
But if
like,
y'all,
okay,
like I
all
said,
right.
if y'all get a chance to watch that 2 Chainz Most Expensivest, I'm talking about they got cannabis cigars on there, $5,000, bigger than your thumb.
Wow.
Like some of the stuff that they got on there, you wouldn't believe that they actually
Mhm.
invented, that somebody actually took the time out to invent. It'll trip you out, real talk.
Yeah. Well, my mom was
Yeah.
just telling me that. She said people spend money on anything, and there's people with a bunch of money just looking for something to buy, looking for something to spend money on. She gets into this stuff called glue booking. She told me that some of these glue books are selling for $350. I was like, "Are you serious? This is like an
What's
arts
a
and
glue book?
crafts
What's a glue
thing."
book?
Exactly. It's like an arts and
How
crafts thing.
much?
So somebody get a
$300,000.
$350. But all it is like a magazine, and then you put stuff in the magazine. Glue booking. I went on the internet and checked it out. There's a
Oh,
lady, she got a site doing it and all that, but I didn't know someone was selling for $350. That's my point. People will pay for anything and they'll pay a bunch of money for it just because.
Says a
yeah,
You know?
she changed her career. Yeah, that's like Mark Hanson we had on our show. He reinvented himself. You know,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
a common. That's a common thing. That's a common thing.
Mhm.
I believe that reinventing your changing your career. That artist, she changed her whole style though. You right. She was doing pop. Now she's doing R&B. Yeah, she doing R&B.
Yeah.
Dope. Dope though.
Mhm.
Who is she? She's who?
She who?
Right. Man.
Mhm.
Ooh.
But
Look,
Yeah.
everybody thinking about who she is
Right.
right now.
You know,
you was
Everybody got quiet like,
Snoop is good at that though. He's real good at reinventing himself though. He always comes different. You know.
saying that. Saying,
Snoop has always been Snoop Dogg. What you mean?
Well, I mean, you know what? He was Snoop Lion. Then he had the gospel
when he went to
album.
Jamaica.
Yeah,
When he was
Snoop
Rasta, he went to
Lion.
Jamaica. Snoop
Yeah,
Lion.
you know. Yeah,
it was
so
Snoop Doggy Dog in my day.
Yeah, for sure. For
he'll
sure.
switch it up in a heartbeat on you. You know.
And Lil Wayne went from being a
Now it's
gangster
just
rapper
Snoop.
to a pop artist to a
To a
rock
skater.
star.
Rock.
You know, who
He
Lil
made
Wayne
rock
skating.
cool again among black
Yeah, he
people.
been skating for years though. He been skating for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Wayne been skating
Yeah,
for
they said he's pretty
years.
good at it now. He's probably pretty good at it. And I heard he was pretty good at it now. I was like, I
That's
could
all he
believe
wanted
it.
to do was be a skateboarder. He didn't even like rap. He was like, you know what, this is what I love.
Well, you gotta think when he
Hey,
was
but
a kid. You gotta think when he was a
Lil
kid,
Wayne
he
is
was out there
smart.
rapping and stuff.
Yeah, but they said, look, they said when he was
He's trying to
young,
enjoy that stuff now. He's trying to
Yeah,
enjoy,
hey,
he
they
you
said
know.
He was
when he was young, he was a
adult.
straight A student, and then they said he really wanted to be a scientist, and they said he was smart enough to do it, but they said his family and his mom and them poo-pooed it because they was like, nah, we're broke and we come from LA, we don't have anything. You can't be no scientist. You're not good enough to do that. I mean, for real. But they said that way. They said his grades and all that, he could have did it. And then they talked
Right.
about how when he got in Cash Money, he was he was the first one in the studio, last one to leave. They said he'd do a song, hear everybody's verse, and then go back and do his verse to make sure that he topped everybody else's verse. He'd do a verse, let everybody else do their verse. Then they say come in the end of the song and rewrite his verse to make sure that his verse outshined everybody else's verse. Yeah, you know, I'm not the hugest Lil Wayne fan, but I do respect his grind, and he's a smart dude. He is very intelligent.
I ain't surprised that these cats told him be a rapper instead of a scientist. That's the route we usually take, but at least it's right this time anyway.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah.
Be a rapper.
Like, yo, man.
Don't
Like,
go
yo,
to
man,
school. Be a rapper.
Be
I
a
want
rapper.
to cure cancer, man.
Play basketball.
Rapping about
That's
these
why you can't tell your friends and family your dreams. You're right. I agree with you, Dan. What's up, Dan? I agree, Dan. You can't. You get that hate. You know. What?
Your friends and family, they perspectives be different from yours. So a lot of times they just want someone the best for you. Sometimes it do
exactly.
It could be a combination of a lot of different things. Because, man, expect that same energy from your people. Yeah, that's where we be messing up at. You gotta just must your own self motivation, man. You can't rely on people to pat you on the back or anything. Because, like I said, people's perspective different. I don't argue with people no more, man. I'm like, man, they just thinking different. Ain't no point of me trying to get them to see my ideal. Ain't none of it. Because especially if a person.
Yeah, be dropping some knowledge on us, but look at all this dream as big as their reality. Right?
That's true.
They do it out of love.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't get no love. I don't get to, you know, do you get support in the things you do from family?
I do. And you know what? How about
What do you
this?
mean? What do you mean? What kind of thing?
Okay. Okay, like this. Why? Okay. I you know, sometimes I don't know, man. You could say, look, I do a show every week. How many of your family members have been on the chat or have been able to come on and say, yo, right, cuz you know I'm here every week. but you haven't made one show.
Yeah.
Or if I was
Yeah.
playing sports or basketball, I play every week. Every Friday night, I play football. How many of my games have you come to, cuz?
Right.
Coming
Yeah.
though.
And
Coming though.
that's why I'm like, yo, man, you gotta rely on other stuff. And you waiting for your people will be there once. Oh man,
Was
you
it blow up?
You making it.
Yeah, when you blow up, they're there. They're right there.
That's just how it is. But man, look, man, cats rather watch Netflix, smoke and chill and do all. They in their phone, but they rather watch other stuff than this.
Yeah.
You know what? I used to be upset. I ain't mad at people.
Nah, I ain't mad at it either.
All night.
Yeah. Say it is what it is.
I'm like, man, stop what you doing to do support.
They will only celebrate when it's done. You're right. They will only celebrate when it's done.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. I understand it now.
I've been riding with you since day one, cuz.
Yeah, right. How many shows I do a week?
Well, yeah.
You know,
And that's why, hey,
yeah.
I mean, like, friends and family, I tell them about it, but when I'm sharing the show, I want to share it to people who I don't know from a can of paint anyway. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get it out there in front of, what's
that meme that's on TikTok all the time? How come you ain't sharing my stuff?
I love that. He said, my friends want to why you ain't famous. Why you ain't sharing my stuff.
Right.
I got it.
Yes, sir.
I didn't use that.
Why don't you lower your price? Yeah, why don't you lower your price?
Nike ain't lowering their price.
Now that was
Nike ain't lowering their price.
I can't afford your stuff right now. Yeah, I can't afford
it. Nobody lowering their prices. These are talking about everything that went up. I can't even go to my black people no more. They want $20 for them plays. I'm like,
oh yeah. The supply chain messing everything up.
Cats ain't making $20 an hour, man. On high school diploma level education, $20 an hour is the minimum.
At least 20.
That's all cats need to be getting now, man. If you 25 and up, and you trying to buy stuff, 20 is the minimum. If you got kids, you double that, man.
Especially if you trying to buy a house or something.
Yeah, man, it's bad out here, man.
Oh yeah,
man. I was like, just to live a regular life, do casual stuff, have a little bit of fun. I'm like, this money ain't enough, man. I'm trying to figure out how people making it with children and houses, and I'm like, well, I know how now. They don't live.
And the side hustle was something else.
Some people
the
got
side hustle was something else. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
People just be living check to check. Like, oh no, bro. I
doing without.
Yeah, exactly. Doing without. That's how I be. You got to do without.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we got another black woman. Well, she ain't official yet in the Senate. Is that correct? Be officially picked. She got to go the Supreme Court justice. She ain't been. She got to go through the confirmation, the butchering. Usually, ain't nobody not made that, right? Everybody has made it through that. There's been somebody that ever didn't get in there because
Remember when Obama wanted to appoint I think Merrick Garland? Is that his name? Merrick Garland?
That was his last. That was because he on it. Was it because Trump was coming in and Trump wanted to do it?
Well,
are we talking about the same thing?
Yes, but look, what it was Mitch McConnell stopped all that because Mitch McConnell said since Obama was a lame duck, and that's what they call a president when you're like 2 or 3 months out of almost on your last term, so you're almost going, but you're still president, so you're a lame duck. You're kind of there, but so
Trump got the pick, right?
Well,
so
no,
Trump.
Well, that's what it was. Yeah. Well, that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? McConnell, he stopped it and didn't let it go through, you know what I'm saying? So Obama could have that pick. So then when Trump got in there, then of course Trump did have that pick. So but that's what happened that time. That won't happen this time. You know what I'm saying? Because it won't, you know what I'm saying? They were saying the lady that Biden picked, she's liked by some Republicans and some Democrats. Now she's still going to get some stuff because the Republicans these days, they're hating anything Biden does, like they hated anything Obama does, because that's their thing. The Republicans don't stand for anything; they just stand against everything. So they couldn't tell you how they're gonna make your life better or come with any policies or anything like that is gonna help you out. But they just know whatever them Democrats is doing, we don't like that. If them liberals is doing it, we don't want that. So that's what's going on with that. And they were saying this
was already cool. She was already cool with everybody anyway.
Yeah.
So it was. I
Yeah.
kind of figured she was gonna get it anyway because they already kind of know her
Well,
and she's already dealt
yeah.
with them. If you're talking about the same woman, yeah,
Yes, and she was on the short list. There are
yeah.
other people on that list, but she was one of the favorites on that short list. And she'll probably get through anyway. But they're definitely going to demonize her before she gets through.
Mhm.
Please don't think that they're not going to take some shots at this sister before she gets that job because they're mad
Mhm.
about it. Because I think it's a lifelong position, so she can
Mhm.
affect a lot of, and that's laws and That was the biggest thing that a lot of conservatives have been on that court. And those Supreme Court justices getting nominated because this is a country of laws, and the Supreme Court is where the buck stops, right? So in a lot of these
Mhm.
cases, what happens? They go to these smaller courts. They can't get solved in smaller courts. They go to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court's ruling sets the precedent for all the rest of the courts. So getting a black woman in there is cool. Now there's still a conservative majority on the court, so I think it's still like 6-3 or something like that. 6 conservative, 3 liberal or whatever. She'll be one of the 3. But just having a black woman in the room will affect a lot of change, and that's true because you
Which
see how
side
crazy
she ride with?
Republicans are winning about, huh?
Which side she ride with?
Oh, she's Democrat. She's a liberal. She's a Democrat.
Mm.
Well,
You see
and
his
here's
face?
the thing. But here's
I think that's why they. I think that's why they picked her. I don't think she's strictly on one side. I think she kind of leans a little bit because there were some people that would have been definitely riding on a Democratic side completely that I thought would have been better. But she already cool with them. They knew the Republicans would ride with her and the Democrats, so she kind of could slide on either way. She kind of neutral, but I think she kind of rides a little to the other side. But
yeah, but that's what you want because you're trying to get her through that confirmation, and you need the okay of Republicans and Democrats. That's how that works. So you don't want to necessarily get assisted that people on the left are like, oh, we love her so much. Well, then people on the right is gonna hate her, and you don't want to get somebody who's so conservative that your own party is like, dude, well, she's almost a Republican. Why are you nominating her? So you got to get somebody who's kind of middle of the road. So that's what to say. Really,
Right.
you don't know what any of them are going to do until they get there. But the only reason we have Obamacare, the American Care Act or / Obamacare, is because Kennedy, the one who's a conservative justice on the court, and when it came down to the wire, he voted to say that it was a tax and not a mandate. You know how you got taxed if you didn't get Obamacare, then you got charged that fee. He was the one who had to make it so that no, he said it's a mandate, it's not a tax, so that made it to where the American Care Act could prevail. But he did that, and then they said he was on the first thing smoking out of town because he knew the backlash was going to be swift. But see what I'm saying? And he's a conservative. People didn't expect him to do that. When John McCain voted, no on getting rid of Obamacare, and he come out there to Trump, and he put his thumb down, and everybody was tripping. People didn't expect McCain to do that, but he's a good man, and he knew it was good legislation, so he wasn't going to vote to end it. But you never know. He's a Republican too, though, and don't get me wrong, I've definitely got differences with John McCain when it comes to policies. But my point is, you don't know what any of these people are going to do until they're there. So
John McCain was a better man. He wasn't that bad. He didn't like Trump. Trump and Trump didn't like each other. You know that.
And when he had that, the thing where he was going against Obama, the debate. And the one he was debating Obama or whatever, and the one lady came up and she said something about I'm afraid of Obama. I think he's a Muslim and a terrorist, and he's going to do this. Yeah. And McCain was shaking.
Stood up.
Right. He's shaking his head, and then he grabbed the mic. He said, grabbed the mic. Right. He said, "No, ma'am." He said he's a good man and a good human being. He said, "I just think that I would be a better president than him, and that's it. Let's move on." That's what you do. That's what you do when you're not a racist.
Right.
So there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So man. So.
What y'all got anything else? You ain't got nothing. I know you get.
No, I'm good.
What? What? We was talking about that little kid, that young rapper, the Lil Wayne replacement.
You said the Lil Wayne replacement.
Yeah. What's his name? The one that got Trump got him from out of jail.
Kodak Black. Yeah.
Kodak Black got the number one record. Got the number one record in America right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, I didn't know.
You believe that?
Okay.
And your boy,
I can.
man, the one be doing all
What's
the
up?
different personalities and shit. Man, what the hell's his name? He
Young
number one too. Cause they thought your boy We the Best was gonna be number one his CD, but he wasn't.
Khaled.
It was Kodak Black and Tyler the Creator.
Tyler.
Oh wow,
Oh yeah,
really?
really.
I gotta look
Yeah,
that up. I like Tyler the Creator. I mess with him.
yeah,
Kodak
Tyler the
Black.
Creator.
But
And he be
okay, I gotta
he
check that
he
out.
got all kinds of different characters he be doing.
You
Tyler the
right?
Creator.
Yep,
He
you
got
do.
he got a whole bunch of
Yeah.
characters. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Kodak's
Wow.
album's not that bad though.
It ain't.
Surprisingly,
I gotta.
it's
I gotta
not
hear
that
it.
He
bad.
beat DJ
I,
Khaled.
Yeah. It's
wow.
something Black Gremlin or the Gremlin record.
Yeah, he's a gremlin. Yeah, he calls himself the
Yeah,
gremlin.
that record pretty popular. Yeah,
Yeah.
about the young people. It was like, man, you weren't even born when Gremlins came out. How'd you know about Gremlins?
Nah, he said he only watched the movie once.
Was he? That must have
Yeah.
been well after. It wasn't when it came out. I know that.
You
Nah.
know?
Hey,
No
you see
way.
his little gremlin chain?
Bro, y'all
The
know
Yeah.
little
that stuff
gremlin
is
chain. He
on
got the little
Netflix,
gremlin chain. Yeah.
man.
I seen that. Yep. I seen that, and I know
But
what it
do
was
But I
about.
usually,
tell
Now I
to you.
know.
but do younger people usually watch movies that came from a different time just because they're going through Netflix? Oh, what is this? This joint
Yeah.
came out in '89. Let
Nah.
me
Yeah.
go on and check it
I
out.
don't
Nah,
know.
man, I don't
I
believe
work.
that.
I work with a lot of young people, and they come in talking about stuff all the time, like Rambo and stuff. And I'll be like, "Yeah, that's an old movie." I mean, or the other day, a young person brought up Idiocracy. You ever seen that movie? That's a movie I love.
Yo, that
And he
movie is one of
Nah,
the
but
best
they
movies
remade
of
it's an
Rambo
old
though.
movie. Yeah.
Yo,
It's
that
an old
movie is
movie, but
that movie is what we went through the last
yeah, it is.
4
It
years,
is.
bro.
You're right, Idiocracy. But you know, that's because
Mm-mm.
you got to think this is the age of the internet. So anything that you ever wanted to see or ever thought about or ever wanted to know about, it's a click away. And these kids are not afraid to click it. You know, because I mean, come on. I mean, that's just how
Yeah.
I remember having a conversation with my son. He was 10 and he was talking to me about Notorious B.I.G. And I said, "Who you talking about? Biggie Smalls?" And he said, "Who is that?" I said, "Biggie Smalls." I said, "That's what he was named." You know what I'm saying? He ended up changing his name to Notorious B.I.G. But he was big. And then, you know, my son Googled that, and then he just saw, "Oh yeah, and he was with Puff Daddy and you know, such and such Big Daddy Kane's DJ is the one who got him signed by Puff Daddy and da-da-da. All this stuff. This is history that it probably took me years to learn. He learned it in
Wow.
seconds, you know, because he Googled it. So that's the time we live. These young people Google and Gremlin, like you said, he saw the movie one time. It affected him
Yeah,
like
back,
that. He
back
thought
when
of
he was a
himself as a
kid, he said he
gremlin.
seen the movie one time. Yeah.
We'll make
But
a
I mean,
song about it.
But
or I
but
made a whole album about it. Not a song,
nah,
an album.
the gremlin situation didn't have nothing to do with the Gremlins movie.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
Come on,
Gremlins,
dope.
you know, with Gremlin, yeah, you told me, nah, just Gremlin period. It ain't got nothing to do with the movie. They made a movie
What's
about
the
gremlins, but
name?
there was gremlins before the movie.
What's
Yeah,
the
You know
yeah,
what
I
I'm saying?
remember Gremlins before
Oh,
the
okay.
movie. Yeah,
Kodak,
came out in the '70s, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So
I don't think he talked about the '70s one. I think he talked about the '80s one. I
nah,
don't
I'm
think
saying he
Kodak.
didn't get the he. Nah, he said
Oh, you saying Kodak didn't get it from
Gremlins.
the?
Yeah, nah, it didn't have nothing to do with the movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought he got it
Gremlin.
from
You know how they
Lil.
got the old
I
wives'
thought Lil
tales
Wayne
and
was
shit
the
about.
first one to call himself a gremlin or some crap like that. Or no, Lil Wayne called himself a Martian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mhm.
Martian.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I thought Lil
Yeah.
Wayne coined the gremlin term. I'm sure he called himself a gremlin at some point. And they just
Mm-hmm.
that's what I thought.
I
Lil
don't
Wayne
know.
started the Gremlins.
No,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
that's
check that
wrong.
album
That's
out though, just
wrong.
because y'all said
That's
it was
wrong.
good. Yeah, I would never check it out usually, but I'm gonna check it.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Are
Hey,
you
but
playing
nah,
Kodak Black in your house?
Huh? Oh no,
Hey,
Yeah.
listen to Kodak Black over here, man.
yeah.
Nah, but hey, you know
Uh,
what though? These days though, there's plenty of stuff. Hey, that joint that y'all sent me by the Migos and who was it? Somebody else? That was pretty good.
uh,
Yeah.
Jim
Jim,
Jones.
Yes,
Jim
sir.
Jones,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
sir.
yeah,
dug that joint. I dug that
yeah,
joint. So there you
yeah. That
go.
was
You know, and
nice.
I would
Yeah,
have thought I would have. I liked it. I liked it.
right.
Yeah,
I was like,
dope. Yeah.
they was spitting. Now I'm sounding like Kid Justice. Like, oh, they spitting.
Yeah.
Migos was spitting. They was spitting on that. I was like,
Right,
is
right,
this
right.
Yeah.
Migos?
Yeah, that
way.
impressed me. I was like,
They
okay,
been
right on.
spitting, man. Y'all just need to open up y'all
Yeah.
ears. Y'all see,
Hey,
Open
y'all
your
see,
ears.
y'all
hey,
see
look,
young
J.
dudes
Cole.
with long hair. Y'all be like, huh? He mumbling. Man, don't get that old man.
Man, he wearing a blouse.
Man,
Ah,
I
and he
don't
wearing a
think
blouse.
Lulu's ever wore a blouse. I don't know.
Hey, J. Cole is underrated for real though. I don't think a lot of people sit and listen to the lyrics.
Yeah,
You know
J.
what I'm
Cole.
saying? J. Cole, yeah.
I
J.
have
Cole
never
is
Yes,
been that
sir.
big a J. Cole fan.
J.
I can't
Cole is
lie.
not
I
underrated
can't lie.
even a little bit. J. Cole is the most, especially among the youth. This would take me.
Yeah,
J. Cole's
yeah,
biggest supporter are anybody
Yes, sir.
32 and younger.
yep,
They
yep,
love J.
Yeah.
Cole music. They
yes,
love his music more than they love the drill hip hop music.
I guess I'm
Yeah.
just
J.
an old
Cole,
young nigga then.
J. Cole is that dude, bro. Like
Yeah. Now
J.
look, I do
Cole's
remember.
he's not underrated. They is giving
Oh
him
no,
his props. They talk
look,
about
I
him
remember.
all the time. He's like the most. He's like God mode, man. This guy shows up
Yeah,
in house shoes and a jacket, and people like, oh, he's so humble. I'm like, bro, what if he
yeah.
was just like, I'm gonna just have a relaxed day, man?
You know
Look,
when all that
everything he
the
do make
protesting was going on, he was out there protesting. I remember that, and
yeah,
that blew me
yeah.
away, man. I seen that on the internet. I said, "What?" He was out there dreads and all that, had the
Yes,
hoodie
sir.
on. He was
One
out
of the
there,
first
and I'm
cats
like,
out
"There's a
there.
guy. He did not have to be out there. He was literally risking his
Yeah.
$1 million life protesting." But I
Don't
like
he
His
it.
look?
$1
So I
Don't
can
he
life.
hats
who?
off to him for that. With that said, I
Don't
don't
he
feel his
who?
music all like that. But
Yeah, I
with
like
that
his
said, I
music.
think he's a good guy.
His music is good.
Fizz, have you
Yeah.
listened to the last album though? His last album.
Yeah, you know what? He had a song where he used a
Shit.
beat by Bryson Tiller, and I did like that song. But I think only because I like Bryson Tiller and I liked it, that song. I think he used that exchange beat. But I've
That
never been. And you know what? J. Cole, he's one of the few MCs to actually have a concert on HBO. I mean, he's done it on a Jay-Z level. So everything you say, Kid Justice, is 100% correct. But with
Yeah, I
that
like
said,
J. Cole.
I just don't feel him like that. I don't know what it is. I ain't
man,
never felt J. Cole like that. I don't know
I
what it
feel
is.
you. I'm with Fizz. I'm like, J. Cole had a lot of positive, laid back, chill music. I'm like, this must be for the young people or something, man. This is
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't feel him.
Nah.
but that all season, man, was hip hop all the way. Bars,
Mhm.
spitting. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, this the J. Cole. Okay, Cat's like, yeah, I told you he was a spitter. I was like, nah, bro, them last albums was alright. This is fire, bro. This is fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This stuff the kids be liking nowadays, just be whatever's emotional. They just be on it. Like, oh, emotions. Yay, this is music. I'm like, bro, I
Yeah,
don't
that
want
emo rap has really taken over, hasn't it?
to
Juice
bro.
World and all that little stuff. And I like
Man,
Juice World, but
I ain't got
rest
no
in peace,
problem.
Juice
I
World.
ain't
But
got
my
no
little,
problem with what
that's
cats want to
emo
put out.
rap.
But I ain't trying to hear
Emo rap.
cats talk about
That's what that is. That's emo rap.
sadness,
No, he didn't.
feelings, and I ain't trying to hear cats talk about Black Lives Matter and they rap all day either. I'm black. I ain't know.
I don't want to hear that all day either.
I want to hear some
Uh,
upbeat stuff, man. Black people having fun. We want to live a little bit. Like, ain't
I
no
want to
black
hear no
people
more
out there
struggle
want to
flows.
live.
No more struggle
So
flows.
you gotta have some negative. So it's the negativity that brings you to is what you like.
Man,
Oh.
look, it's like for me, after hearing the same stuff over and over, bro, yes. It's like I fast forward, like, yeah. Cops kill us, America bad, blah, 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 blah. It's me, I'm just impatient now. I'm like, bro, come on, where's the real lyrics? Because to me, it don't take no talent to write how you feel about how we don't have rights and they step on us. I'm like, yeah, we're sad. Next, bro,
yeah, we're sad. Move
bro,
on.
1,000
oh
rappers
wow.
did
Hell
that.
no.
1,000 rappers have made 1,000 songs about it. It's like a
Huh?
subject that's for me. I'm like, yeah, it's like when slavery movies come out. I don't never go see those no more.
I
Like,
hear it. I agree with that. And I don't. Yeah, that gets on my
Oh,
nerves.
see, I'm a star too.
Man,
That's old as
I'm a
hell.
star too.
I
I
ain't
was
seeing no
too.
He
sleep
said
movies,
I'm a
bro.
sad too.
Like, yo, man,
I
they
think
beating
one
up
was
black
bad.
people, and they gonna treat them bad. We already know what's gonna happen. They're gonna beat them up. They're
Yeah.
gonna treat them bad, and they're gonna show
Was
us
it
in
12?
history where there was
Yeah,
a
12
time
years
where
and a slave. I'm cool. I don't need the
won.
butler. No thanks.
Yeah, man, I don't want to see that.
Driving Miss Daisy,
I
you
agree.
know.
Man,
I'm cool.
but
I
that's
agree. I don't
cool.
like that either.
That's cool if they want to put that out because it's good for other people who don't know about it or don't understand it. Go ahead. But all them songs should have like a little thing on it now that says BLM. So I know, like, oh, they be on that protest stuff and that sad stuff. Skip. Ah, yeah, they in the club again. Yeah, right
No, he
around with
didn't.
your
Hey,
man.
let me ask you. Let me ask you this
like
question
we gonna
about.
be all right.
Let me ask you this question about. You know about KRS-One, right? The rapper from Boogie Down Production days. The last good album, because he got a new album out, right? All right, so oh, you heard it?
I heard. I like it. Yeah.
You like it? You one of the
I ain't
few.
heard it.
You
I
one of the
ain't
few.
heard it.
A lot of us,
I like it though.
a lot of us tuned out on him after he left. After the Boom Bap album, a lot of us stopped listening to it because his music started getting. Can I say this? Whack.
Crazy.
The beats got whack. The beats got whack. I'm not gonna say the lyric content got whack, but the beats just got horrible. And I have to say I probably tuned out after that. After the Boom Bap album, the Boom Bap. That was my last KRS album that I could play all the way through and be like, oh, this is the banger. This is a banger. Now it'll just be like, oh, KRS-One got a new one. Let's see how bad the beats are. I might find one, might find two, but you know, when you used to your favorite artist making hit after hit, and now they don't do the same production, or they call themselves reinventing themselves, trying to stay up with a certain trend or younger, it kind of makes you angry, man. Like, why are you doing this? This ain't even what made you who you are. Why are you trying to sound like the young people, or why are you trying to?
I ain't never listened to KRS-One like that, so I'm no fan. I don't know the difference, but I have felt that feeling you talking about, bro. You like, bro, what is this? Look at that dude. What happened?
Hey,
man,
you see, Onyx came out with some new stuff.
Yeah. Now, what did you think about the Onyx?
They sound the same. They sound the same.
They sound like
The
name of the album is 1993. Their album's gonna be called 1993. So I mean, that do sound like 1993 Onyx, though.
For sure.
Onyx got a new album.
I put it in the chat, man. I put it in.
Because I'm still alive.
Like, hold
greatest rapper of all time. I ain't never died. I'm underground. Too hard for your radio. MTV won't even play my video. No, heck no.
Sticky fingers.
Man, I'm about to go listen to
Black. What was that? Black Vagina Killer. What was that joint? That Return to the Black Vagina. There was Black Vagina something killer something. I remember that record. Like, damn, did they really say that?
What's the new
Slam. I think it's called 1993. It might not be out yet. I only got a single.
Bo. That's the latest release. Yeah,
that's it. That's the newest single. But the album gonna be called 1993. I think they were saying. But
so obviously that's their whole angle is preserving 93. Good luck with that. You know, I mean,
the whole album might not be like that though.
Man, Griselda, it's a couple artists out there that preserve the 90s style of rap. Man, I'm sad MF Doom is gone, man. MF Doom was dope, bro.
Yes, sir.
Do you know who MF Doom was, though? Do you know who he was? Do you know, like, the group that he came from?
What do you mean we know who he was?
Mystery, bro. I just
started I'm saying, who would you mean?
2 weeks
ago. KMD.
Like, yo, who is this
KMD?
Yeah, MF Doom was from KMD. You remember KMD? Peach Fuzz, dude, Peach Fuzz. That's an old group. Yeah. And he
KMD. KMD on Gas Face, right? He was on Gas Face with
another Gas Face date
before his time.
Yep. KMD in third base is this ace in the hole. I mean, so get the Gas Face. Damn, if looks could kill. Yeah, you look like your hoe was a ghost from the grill, but still, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I used to Gas Face. I might listen to that a couple days ago. I used to love it. I love the Cactus album.
He took me back for that shit for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. What's that? Right? Is that Onyx?
Took me back for sure.
KMD.
KMD. Yep. Yeah. So Doom, that was a huge loss to the hip hop world because Doom is like nobody else. I mean, when he came out with that and had the mask on and doing the production and the lyrics and all that. Yeah. You know what, dude? He puts me in the mind of like a Jay Electronica only because he's a person who was able to kind of like make his own path, make his own lane, like didn't necessarily need a label or any of that. Just kind of just did what he wanted to do. Jay Electronica is a guy so talented, he kind of just makes his own lane, like does whatever he wants to do.
That good?
Huh?
When he put out music, the hell?
That's my point. Whenever he wants to, whenever he feels like it, he puts out some. Hey, but you know what? All his features are the bomb. You know what I'm saying? The feature he had on Kanye West album, the feature, somebody else I just heard Lord. He still gets it in, but you're right, Jay Electronica. He drops something when and if he feels like it. But he seems like that kind of guy. Like he's got that type of talent, them type of skills where people like me are waiting for it. Whenever he decides to bless us with, we'll receive it.
Right.
Yep. Oh. But that was a huge MF Doom, man. That was a huge loss to hip hop, man. Oh yeah.
Remy Ma's husband, man. God, man, why I can't think of his name right now? Papoose. Bro, Papoose. Did you know Papoose put out an album every month? He's been putting out an album a month. He has an album for every month. If you go back, somebody shout out Willie Banks. He put me up on that. I was like, "What you talking about?" He's like, "Bro, did you hear January?" I'm like, "January." Oh, but did you hear December? I'm like, "What you talking about?" So I started going back. I was like, "This dude put out an album every freaking month."
Oh,
wow!
Man,
every month he put out an album. Every month.
He did January, February, March, April, May.
Yeah, and they fire too. I was listening to him like
October. Then he got all that. It's only like 5-6 songs each album, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because I ain't every month. My
every
Lord,
month.
I mean, that's a lot of songs. Even 5 albums per month. My God, 5 times 12 is 60. Jeez.
Yeah.
So whoa,
underrated, man.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Bruce ain't messing around, boy. He ain't been resting on his laurels, has he? That man been working.
He just don't get no love though.
I think my favorite song he ever did.
And he a good rapper.
I agree. I like that too. That was the album song.
Is he a good rapper?
Papoose is fire. Man, he fire on the mic, bro.
Listen to the Alchemist song, kid. Man, that dude.
For sure.
He don't miss a beat, bro. He's a good rapper. You know how like him and Joe Budden and there's a bunch of like skilled rappers that Cassidy, they had skill, but they just ain't had a right
Cassidy production. For sure.
Yeah, they had a right production behind them at all, man. So when they got to making albums, like it was, some songs here and there, but they ain't had no real hardcore solid albums where cats be like, man, right there, that's right there. I think Joe Budden, his first album was real good.
Yeah,
sorry. But after that, man, like after that, man, cats I call them like lost stars. Like they.
What was the group? Buttons was in. He was in with It was 3 dope rappers, man. Joe Buttons. They was all signed to M. I wanted not Helter Slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouse was fire, bro.
Yeah, Slaughterhouse was oh yeah.
Slaughterhouse was dope. They was
Joel Ortiz is my favorite Slaughterhouse these days. Joel Ortiz, that dude he gets it in. He gets it in, man.
What's the dude from the West Coast that was signed to last dude from Ruthless? Dang, what was his name? He dissed Dre and them later. Cause he was like the last dude from Ruthless Records left to the end.
And this Dre.
I
guess he was mad at Dre. That is.
He dissed Dre, Snoop, and everybody.
The lady in Rage had said that though. She said her album was so screwed up. She said because I was one of the last people to come out. She said when her album was coming out, that's when Death Row was falling apart. Literally, she said so. Even the features I was supposed to have would be all messed up. My studio time was messed up. She said my beats wouldn't be right.
What was going on with Death Row?
Because remember, Death Row was falling apart because Dre had left, Suge Knight had took things over. That's when Nate Dogg had talked about he had started bringing his gun to the studio because he had seen like an engineer get beat to death almost for rewinding the track too far. It was falling apart there at the end. And Lady in Rage said it was just the time when my album was kind of coming out was the worst time for
The Death Row was like
for Death Row, you know. So yeah.
Album label.
Yeah. Well, when Suge Knight took it over, then it kind of just turned into something else. You know, that's what Nate Dogg said. He said he knew it was going downhill when he said, I started bringing my gun to the studio because I seen a producer get, beat to death almost for rewinding the track too far. That's ridiculous.
Hey, Suge, how you like this track?
Nate said he started bringing his music to the studio.
Started bringing his music to the studio. Let me know what you want me to do. There's no way I could work under those conditions.
Yeah.
Man. I'm just out.
That's something. Yeah, well, that's when you know it's done. Yeah. Like, yeah, we're done here. I can't mess with this place.
Suge Knight did it.
Suge, oh my God.
Man, Suge Knight done killed all the rappers, man. He said 4 months. Blow.
He knew something about that Tupac thing. He knew something about Tupac. I'm not saying he did it, but he knows who did. He probably set it up or something. I'm sorry. I think he has something to do with it because he got wind of the fact that Tupac got wind of the fact that he ain't have all the money he should have because they said that Suge was keeping that from him and not letting him sign for things himself and really have access to his own money. I think that it came to a head and Tupac was like, "What's up, bro?"
Right? They never Tupac or Biggie's killer, right?
No, you're right.
And he just got assassinated, man. It's hard to get away from murder, man. Them cats got assassinated, bro, by top killers, bro. Some sneaky cats, man. They paid big money to shut them up. Them niggas that wasn't even seen. All them people ain't nobody see nothing.
Yeah. Well, I saw a documentary about Biggie Smalls' murder, and they said the guy who was the head police chief on that murder, the closer and closer he got to what looked like was the truth, they kept telling him to leave the case alone, and he ended up quitting the force because of that case. He said, "I quit the force because they took me off this case because I was getting close to the truth." But for whatever reason, they didn't want him finding the truth, and to this day, we still don't have it. So that's interesting.
Hey, Snoop gonna sign all them people back, man, or you gonna let them go? That's the question. On Death Row.
Oh, on Death Row, ain't that something? What if he went back and got something?
You know who I was talking about was Crooked I. Crooked I was the cat I was talking about. When Snoop left Death Row, Crooked I went to Snoop and Dre. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. And Crooked I was the Slaughterhouse with Joe Buttons in there. Joel R2. Yeah, he was the other member. Yeah. Crooked I.
Yeah.
Crooked I didn't get no love, but he dope too.
Yeah, again.
He dope too.
Kind of one of the forgotten MCs of yesteryear. You know, some of these guys was either on a hit or had a hit.
But they don't be having the right production. It's like, man. Yeah. And remember, I remember on that Wu-Tang show, what's his name? I didn't know what's his name got put on. He had already been famous without Wu-Tang.
Who?
RZA. He was already he was King Rock King before.
Well, but that album now, don't make no mistake, that album was not a hit or anything. And I think the GZA, he had an album before the Wu-Tang thing too. That wasn't nothing to. Yeah, they would even admit that those were horrible deals and horrible albums.
Damn, I had those albums too.
Even they would admit that album.
He went by The Genius, right?
Yeah.
Was it really that bad, man?
I didn't like it at all. It was that song I talked about our last show where RZA breaks it down. He was telling you their experience with these record labels. Like he said, who's your A&R? A mountain climber who plays an electric guitar. So they going in there and you got white guys in suit and ties who at that time had no frame of reference on this new street music that the black kids are doing called rap. They just know it makes a bunch of money. So they bring you in and you look like MC should look, someone off the street. And they're like, nah, we need you to dress it up a little. We need you a cleaner look because we want to market you to ladies. Yeah. And they didn't know what they were doing because they didn't know the first thing about this thing called hip hop. And they went in there interjecting their ideas and they made these guys into people they weren't. And the music flopped, but you still get blamed for a flop, even though they the ones who manufactured your flop. You know, so that's what they were talking about. And that's when they fell back and said, you know what, nah, we're gonna be the Wu-Tang and we're coming out as ourselves. Are they gonna accept us like this or not? And then they started selling albums out of their, out of their cars and stuff. So that's what really had record labels looking at them like, y'all moving all these units without our help. Let us get some money in the game so we can make some money with you. You're making all this money over there. But a lot of cats did. Jay-Z did it like that. E40 did it like that. A lot of cats have done it, like selling stuff out of, out of their trunks, because the music business is silly. Man, I also want to talk about, did y'all hear about how India.Arie took her music off of Spotify because of Joe Rogan? Did y'all know about that?
Nah, she did too?
Yeah. Look, and then that's okay. So Joe Rogan, he had got in trouble with Spotify because of all this anti-vaxxer stuff to be on his program. Now, his podcast is the #1 podcast in America, like 500,000 listeners strong. Right. So so his podcast, you're in my head, Kid Justice.
Joe Rogan?
So listen,
Joe
check
Rogan
it out. This whole thing blew me away, boys. Because look, India.Arie was talking to Trevor Noah from The Daily Show, and she's talking to him about it. And she was talking about, okay, the anti-vaxxer thing was what it was. She said, but I took my music off of Spotify because she had shined the light on how Joe Rogan just said all this racist stuff. Like he had said the N-word on his show 1,000,000 times. Then Then he told this story about how he was somewhere. They wanted to see Planet of the Apes. So he said, I Googled the nearest movie theater. He said it was somewhere. He said, we're riding through the neighborhood. I'm like, whoa, this is a sketchy area. It's a rough neighborhood. He said, we got to the movie theater. He said, it was Planet of the Apes. It was nothing but black people. Now, he says that. Now, that's extremely racist, right? So then, but then it's funny because Trevor Noah said, and check it, he knows it was racist. He said, because I'm going to play the rest of the film for you. And he even said himself, oh, that was racist. I should have said it. And after he says that, he'd be like, yeah, we went to the movie theater and it was Planet of the Apes. It was obviously the hood. There were black people over there. We were the only white people there. And they're laughing. The guy's talking to him. And he's like, I shouldn't have said that. He said, that was so racist. I should not have said it was Planet of the Apes just because it was a black neighborhood. But see, that's it. And stuff like that. So that's why India.Arie ended up taking it. But then India.Arie talked about how artists aren't getting any money off of these streaming platforms anyway. Like Spotify, they're like the lowest payers, and they pay like 0.0000895% of a penny. That's what you get for stream. Yes, I talked about it on my show a while ago. Yes, because T-Pain was talking to a fan about that, and he put those things up there and wanted them to see that. And I talked about it on my show. A lot of people don't know. Look, they said if you're with a streaming site, say you're with Spotify, right, and you give them that $10 a month for your subscription, they said $8 of that is going to the big budget acts, whether you stream their stuff or not. So it's going to your Lady Gagas, your Drakes, your Rihannas. Now, event staples or you know what I'm saying, just a lower tier artist, they gotta divide up that $3 of that 10. No matter how many times I download one of them, 8 of my $10 is going to your Drakes, going to your Rihannas, going to your Lady Gagas. And the record companies have orchestrated this deal. These are, and India.Arie, she says she ain't making no money. India.Arie, that woman's a national treasure.
All his work on his not on his album, but on his website. That's how you'll be able to get
0.008. That's like every 8 pennies that sell, you get your penny.
You get a penny. Yeah. That's
damn.
I know that's right.
It's been that way for a while. Money. Exactly. It's been that way for you get nothing off of these streams. Nothing off of them. And that's why I say this because of that deal.
You make your own websites. Yo, you want to listen to my stuff? Yo, you got.
What do y'all think about that? Because the Donda 2 is supposed to be, but they say it's gonna be $200 to be on this site.
$200.
I don't want to hear Donda 2 that bad.
Sell ugly shoes for $700, $800, $1,000.
Yeah, Apple dropped in for that too.
Yo, Kanye
who's gonna pay that?
Pull it off. People go pay it. Watch.
And then won't somebody just pay it and then they'll make copies and send it out to the rest of us for free anyway?
Nah, you gotta have that player to listen to it, don't you?
Somebody gonna leak that album out eventually.
Think so? Because people leak everything. Everything gets leaked.
That was the biggest problem back then. Guys was like, well, man, cats just go pirate my music. Yeah, and that's what we go. Yeah. That's what dudes do. They go, man. If Kanye West can make it where it can't be pirated, but with recording devices, you can pirate anybody's stuff, so it won't be this big a deal. The only thing is the quality might not be as good. People ain't gonna care as long as they get listen to their favorite artist's new album. Man, you already know cats gonna be, man, LimeWire gonna come back, bro, and Bear share.
That's
Shit,
like
Lime
cats watching bootleg movies.
LimeWire. I remember LimeWire.
Man, when these babies first came out, they had programs where you could download music for free, bro. So
Mhm.
they was already losing money because in the digital world, you can't. It's impossible to make music where people would never be able to pirate your stuff.
Exactly.
Use your stuff against
He
you.
did a video. He released the track with Soulja Boy. You hear that yet? He got a
I
video
ain't
for
never
it.
check that out. All right, I'm gonna go look for that.
Taking Soulja Boy off the album.
Soulja Boy's verse wasn't that bad, man. He was tripping, man. It ain't that bad, bro. It wasn't that bad, man. He
That's
didn't
funny.
really. Soulja Boy didn't really get to say much. It was he got his verse in at the end, and then it went off, and I was like, well, it wasn't that bad. I mean, he ain't, but he's not a lyrical dude anyway. But
No,
it wasn't bad for Soulja Boy. You know, Soulja Boy used to be like A B C D E F G, skirt, and you like yo, and then you done. But it was better than that. It was better than that. Come on, man. It wasn't that bad.
I ain't gonna say Soulja Boy had any skills. That's for sure. I ain't gonna say Soulja Boy has been monumental to the hip hop culture.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the reason why cats found out new ways to promote themselves. This is the reason why we doing this right now. Like Soulja Boy, like
He was one of the first
and I'm
pioneers
about
of it.
to make music on YouTube, basic videos and everything. But skill wise, yeah, I ain't gonna give it to him. But I was also jamming to his tracks, and I remember, man, because of him, a lot of people was able to put themselves out there, and not just artists, comedians, talk show people. Everybody started on YouTube because of this.
Yeah,
dude,
yeah, he kind of pioneered that. He showed it could be done. Yeah.
Guys, he a goofy cat, man. He always doing stunts and stuff to stay relevant and stuff, but he be on it, man. I kind of respect Soulja Boy, man.
Yeah.
I remember when he went on that one show, they was dogging him. What's that show called? There's three of them. There's two dudes and a girl. It's clowning his video game system and she asked him a
That was with Academic.
He's like, why
You
would
see his video game? Did you see the console though? Did you see the game? I said, oh man, this boy that got.
Man, them consoles sell all the time. All he was gonna do is brand his name on a console. It's one of them consoles that sell them old games that we all used to play back in the day.
Yes, sir.
It's still smart. I'm like, shoot, man, if it make you some money, why not? But they just thought and she was like, why you got so many business plans? I'm like, why can't he have multiple business plans? He got to
That's just being smart.
And like it was weird. I was like, it's one of the worst interviews I ever seen. That's when Soulja Boy was hype in the interview. They made memes off that interview and stuff. But I was like, yo, man, give that man his respect, man. Soulja Boy ain't no scrub out here, yo. And just because he making business plans everybody don't agree with. That news clearly got money, still relevant.
Yeah. He got the #1 show on Revolt now. He got the #1 show on Revolt.
Oh wow, I know.
Revolt TV. Revolt TV. Ain't that owned by Diddy, right?
Puff Daddies, yeah, that's Puff Daddies.
Yeah, he got the #1 show on Revolt.
I don't know what Revolt is. I don't have cable anymore.
He ain't on cable. It's not on cable.
Nah, yeah, I don't know where you go to get Revolt. Revolt is people talk about how it's hard
YouTube
to
and Drink Champs was on there at one point on Revolt
I think
TV.
the morning show Breakfast Club, they was on there. They may still be on there. I don't know. They were on there though. Yeah.
They ain't on there no more. They broke their deal with them or something.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what happened with that? Something happened with Diddy, money or something. Like, that's all right. We good.
They ran my Diddy. I'm like, Diddy on that? Oh,
you already know. Puff Daddy.
Might be dead.
Might end up going out like Craig Mack.
Diddy re-released
the Craig Mack
albums. Legendary album available. I'm like,
another Black Rob affair.
Man, bro, I wouldn't mess with Diddy. Now I can't believe Diddy's still in business with the reputation he got.
Yeah. Right, man. So tomorrow, Wise, that's a Sonic.
Ooh. Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. You familiar with you should be familiar because we had the light on. So remember same group. So yeah, he's the beatbox of the crew.
Yeah. Yeah, that takes you beatbox. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. So
Yeah.
see how
I
that
hope
works
he
out.
beatbox for us. I hope
Yeah.
he beatbox live for us.
Oh, that would be dope. That would be dope.
Well, they said he was rebranding himself as a vocalist now, so he probably want to
Yeah.
rap or something.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I want to see that too. I want to hear that.
Mhm.
I wish we could get it exclusive. That'd be dope if I could get it
That would be
exclusive.
dope, man. Yeah, that would be dope.
That stuff used to be sweet back in the day, man. Cassie was real good at it, man. And you would think you was listening to an actual track. Like, man, how is he making all them noises with his mouth? There's no way.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know they got championships for that now. They be going serious. They be beatboxing. I mean, they be making little DJ sounds and with their mouth and all that, and they be off the hook. Where you be like, dang,
Remember all
to a new level, you know?
That's hip hop culture for you, man. Only hip hop.
True indeed, hip hop culture. Yeah.
Remember all them beatboxes we had? We had Dougie Fresh, RZA.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Rozelle? Rozelle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dougie Fresh, Rozelle.
Who was the fat boy? Was it Buff?
Buff.
Was it
Buff?
Buff? Yeah, Buff was there.
Yep.
He was that. Yeah.
Skinny Boys. Everybody had to have a beatbox in the crew. Everybody, even Fresh Prince had a beatbox. What was that dude? Human Lindrum, whatever. Wasn't Charlie Mack? Charlie Mack was his BR, right? I think Charlie Mack was Will's. What was his name? Because he had that song on the first album that we loved back in the day. The first Fresh Prince album with Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble. There was a record on there. Rock the House. There was a beatbox song on there and the bass was hitting so hard. We was like, how he do that? How he make that beat go when he beatbox? Fat Boy, what do you say? Skinny Boys. Damn, everybody had a beatbox in that record back then.
Yeah, that was hip hop culture at that time. Yeah.
You wasn't nothing if you didn't have a beatbox in your crew.
Had to have a beatbox. You know, exactly. Somebody on beatbox. Somebody on
beatbox and a DJ and a 2 MC.
Here it is. Exactly. Yep. Had to have a beatbox.
We was like, is Run beatboxing? Hit It Run. Remember Hit It Run when he's beatboxing? We was like, wow. So that's gonna be interesting. Bring up the art of beatboxing.
Yeah. All right, well, shoot, that's what's up. Well, so what? So we'll So we tomorrow 1. Well, 1:30.
Yeah. Well, you know us. We gotta be there at 1 because we be in way.
Yeah. So 1. Yeah. So 1 o'clock.
Real quick. Spitfire, say back
You can beatbox to the crew.
Yeah.
I love beatboxing, man. That stuff is sweet.
There it is. Hey.